Hello, guys. Welcome back. This is episode 16. I took a break for a long time because I had personal stuff. Nothing bad, just school and life, I guess, and holiday. But I'm back, and with me, I have Sadikshya Vaidya. Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Sadikshya Vaidya. I am working as a fitness coach. I mostly do online coaching, and I met Manav through the pump. Pump चाहिँ हामी दुवैजना जाने gym हो. And I've met amazing people there. One of them is Manav, and I'm so glad we're doing this today.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. So we met at the gym, right? And it's because we go there to get fit. We do our thing. Do you remember the first time you went to a gym?
Oh, I clearly remember. It was 2018 February. I had this roommate with me, अनि ऊ चाहिँ त्यति बेलादेखि नै जिम एकदम कन्सिस्टेन्टली जाने अनि ऱ्यान्डमली एक दिन सोध्यो उसले मलाई सँगै जिम जाउँ न जाने हो भनेर अनि आई वाज भेरी क्लोज विथ हर आई स्टिल एम अनि अब मिल्ने साथीले गर्ने कुरा आफूलाई नि गर्न मन लाग्छ नि त सो आई वेन्ट टु द जिम विथ हर सी गाइडेड मी सी सोड मी द रोप्स इट वाज इन्टिमिडेटिङ एज आई रिमेम्बर होइन अब के गरिरहेको हुन्छ यु डोन्ट नो इफ युर डुइङ इट करेक्टली ओर नट But yeah, I remember that day so clearly. Bihana थियो. I had to get it done before my morning classes started. So 9 baje start हुन्थ्यो. So by 6 नै gym जानु पर्थ्यो and yeah, that's how I remember my day one.
And this was in Nepal or this was?
This was in South Korea.
Okay. You went to South Korea to study, right?
Right.
You went to go study what?
I went to do my bachelor's in international business. And I was there for 4.5 years.
And what was that like? How does Korea compare to living in Nepal?
Of course, it would be different. I know different countries, different cultures. It is very different. But looking back, I feel like it was one of the most courageous decisions I made in my life. I was 19 back then. अनि त्योभन्दा अगाडि कहिले पनि नेपाल छोडेर त के अब आफ्नो घर छोडेर यताउता नजाने खालको बच्चा मेक द डिसिजन टु गो देयर स्टडी देयर इट वाज एन अमेजिङ एक्सपिरियन्स अब नेपालको लाइफ र साउथ कोरियाको लाइफ कम्पेयर गर्ने बेलामा चाहिँ फर्स्ट थिङ लाइक स्ट्यान्ड आउट गर्ने फर्स्ट थिङ भनेको चाहिँ फ्रिडम राइट बिकज हियर यु लिभ विथ योर पेरेन्ट्स अनि नो म्याटर हाउ ओपन माइन्डेड योर पेरेन्ट्स आर त्यो अलिकति फ्रिडम चाहिँ कमै हुन्छ होइन घरमा बस्ने बेलामा तर वन्स यु गो आउट अनि युर डुइङ लाइफ अन यर ओन युर डुइङ एभ्रिथिङ अन यर ओन त्यो फ्रिडम पनि हुन्छ एट द सेम टाइम रेस्पोन्सिबिलिटिज पनि हुन्छ सो सबैभन्दा डिफ्रेन्ट चाहिँ नेपाल र साउथ कोरियामा त्यही दुइटा कुरा फ्रिडम एन्ड रेस्पोन्सिबिलिटिज
I think, but that's true for like anything, right? Like,
right.
For example, if I'm gonna go to college, right, all those things are gonna happen, right? I feel like in Nepal there's this tradition to bataru karma, so you have to take care of them. You don't, I wouldn't say pamper, but you have to like love them. You have to take care of them, right? All the way up until they leave to go study or they move out the house, right? They are supposed to be taken care of in this very loving way, right? Was it really hard? Like you said that yes, there were responsibilities, but there was also freedom, right? Coming from a Nepali household, how was it like living alone, having no one to worry about back at home? Like, hey, nobody to ghare pugnu parcha, dal bhat khanu parcha, none of that, right? But there's also this sense of, oh shit, like I gotta cook my own food, I gotta go home and cook. You know, there's like two sides, right? That's just an example, but how did you deal with like just it's such polar opposite ways of living, right? How did you deal with that transition?
Initially it felt like a lot basic कुराहरू अब ग्रोसरी सपिङ गर्नेदेखि लिएर कुकिङ क्लिनिङ लन्ड्री एन्ड एभ्रिथिङ जुन जसले सबैले गर्नुपर्ने कुरा हो त्यो कुरा मात्र गर्नुपर्दाखेरि पनि इट फेल्ट लाइक अ लट तर बिस्तारै यु गेट युज टु इट म पनि युज टु हुँदै गएँ And also it helped because I had friends around me who were in similar phases. घरबाट for the first time different country मा आएको अनि सबै कुरा आफ्नै रेस्पोन्सिबिलिटी लिएर गरिरहेको. आई ह्याड those kind of friends around me, so that helped. ए सबैको यस्तो त हो रहेछ, सबैले गर्नै पर्ने कुरा रहेछ भनेर.
I think that helps for sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're going to college, you're not the only one living on your own for the first time. You know, there are gonna be thousands, like maybe not thousands, but like multiple people in your dorms, in your houses, you know, living for the first time on your own. But a lot of people in Nepal, when they go to abroad in SMA Kandane, right, you rarely hear Korea.
Yes.
You hear Australia, you hear America. You might even hear, you know, Britain or somewhere in Europe or, you know, the UK or whatnot. But why did you choose Korea?
Korea was never on my list of countries that I wanted to go to. Study ko लागि especially. Ani I was applying for one of the universities in the US. Ani last ma, you know how it works. Visa approval sababhanda last ma huncha, right? And then my visa got rejected. It was heartbreaking because त्यही अनुसारको सबै plan गरेको थियो हैन. अनि once that didn't happen, I started looking for alternatives. मैले फेरि अप्लाई गर्छु भनेर सोच्नु त सोचेँ अनि त्यही अनुसार प्लान पनि गरिरहेको थिएँ. बट आई वाज लाइक ओके आई थिङ्क आई सुड ह्याभ एन अल्टरनेटिभ. सो त्यस्तै अपर्च्युनिटिजहरू खोजिरहेको थिएँ. एन्ड देन randomly, now this is so random, it's so random, a stranger texted me on Facebook saying, hey, I saw your post in this page called US study visa for Nepalese student. I don't know if you know about that page. तर त्यति बेला अहिले पनि छ क्यारे त्यो पेज है फेसबुकमा. जस्ट नेपालीहरूले बाहिर जसले अप्लाई गरिरहेको छ युएसको लागि, दे सेयर देयर एक्सपिरियन्स देयर. अब भिजा इन्टरभ्यू छ भने भिजा इन्टरभ्यूमा के कस्तो भएको थियो, कस्तो क्वेसन सोध्यो, के आन्सर गर्यो भनेर त्यो कुराहरू सेयर गर्ने पेज हो है. एन्ड आई पोस्टेड माई एक्सपिरियन्स अन द पेज एन्ड दिस गाई हु वाज स्टडिङ इन साउथ कोरिया त्यति बेला, he saw this post and he texted me, hey, I saw your post. I think you've got the qualifications to be eligible for this scholarship that is in South Korea. Ani त्यो चाहिँ government scholarships थियो, so fully funded and everything. So I was like, okay, I'll just give it a try. And then I applied. Luck, I think I also got lucky. Nepal but exam matra dine थियो. And then I somehow just got it. And that's how I ended up in South Korea.
And then when you were applying, right, were you thinking, okay, no, like if I get in, I'm going to go for sure, I'll go? Or was it like I'll get in, I'll see what happens, I'm going to talk about it, like I had to weigh out all the pros and cons, I had to figure it all out. They're not guaranteed if I go. This is I'll go there, or it was like if I get in, I go, no questions asked.
Nope. Malai, like to scholarship पाइसकेपछि पनि I wasn't sure. I was like, should I just wait for the US भनेर. But then once I got it, I talked with the Korean embassy. कुरा गरेँ with the ambassador, everybody. अनि they were so nice. अनि अलिकति हुन्छ नि mind open भयो भनौँ न. This is also an opportunity, maybe something I had not expected, maybe something I really didn't plan for, but it looked good. And this was that I went for it.
I mean, I am a citizen of America. So my citizenship is actually very complicated, but I'm a US passport holder. And when me and my family see people like over here just like, or the US is like the only place to go, you know, if you don't get into the US, you're screwed types. This mindset, right now it's not as common, but it's still there. Do you still think that, oh, the US is this, or like Wonderland where all the dreams come true, or do you think if you don't get into US, it's not the end of the world, it's still this, there are so many other places to go to in the world? Because I feel like that. I feel like the US, there's Korea, there's the UK, there's Australia, which a lot of people are doing. But there's
Nepal.
There's Nepal as well, exactly. So what do you what do you think about this whole like everybody wanting to go to the US?
It really isn't the end of the world.
Yeah.
Opportunities सबै ठाउँमा छ, सबै countryमा छ हैन. It's just that we've seen a lot of people go there. अनि the grass is greener on the other side भन्छ नि, त्यही हो हुन चाहिँ हैन. तर if you talk to people who've been there अनि who've stayed there for a while, अनि if you listen to their experience, you would know that it's not always, you know, like nice and happy. The struggle सबै ठाउँमा छ है. So like mentality पहिला भन्दा त अहिले धेरै चेन्ज भयो. त्यो टाइममा जब मेरो भिजा लागेन, I got denied. It really felt like the end of the world है. But then South Korea happened. I honestly think यदि म US गएको भए जस्तो खालको एक्सपिरियन्स हुन्थ्यो versus South Korea मा गएर जस्तो खालको एक्सपिरियन्स भयो. I don't think I would have gotten the kind of opportunities and experiences in the US that I got in South Korea. So अब त्यही पर्सपेक्टिभको कुरा पनि हो हुन त हैन. तर opportunities सबै ठाउँमा छ.
Yeah, I think people have to realize that US is an option, not the solution, right? It's there's so many different ways to do things. But let's go back before Korea, right? Like as a student, you're really into fitness and the body and the mind. Like how is that like to your younger self? Were you always like an athletic person, or is this like 10 years ago? Would you recognize yourself?
Oh, so 10 years ago, I was 16. I was not athletic at all. मेरो हेल्थ पनि त्यस्तो साह्रो राम्रो थिएन. टाइममा बिरामी परिराख्ने त्यस्तो खालको थियो. I was good at studies, but looking back, I feel like that was the only thing I was good at. Studying हुन्छ नि, getting good scores, त्यही खालको मात्र. अनि I was not active at all. अब कतिसम्म भने यदि स्कुलमा केही एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर तर physical खाले extra curricular हैन त्यो छ भने people wouldn't even ask me if I wanted to participate. They just knew I wasn't interested भनेर. So I was not athletic at all. That's one of the things I kind of regret. हुन्छ नि पहिलेदेखि अलिकति एक्टिभ भएको भए I think that would have been a more fun life. But now that I'm active and I am taking care of my health better, and my work is also health and fitness related, I am glad.
Yeah, I think fitness is definitely really important, right? But so is grades and all, right? It's going back to this whole point of grades are not the solution to everything, right? Just like America isn't the solution to everything, right? There's so much more to life than just going to school and studying. And in my classmates I wanted it, they'll tell you that I'm not the class topper, but I'm fairly good at studies, right? But I also know that that's not going to be my life. I can't just get A's all the time and expect that to pay out, right? You need to apply knowledge, right? In your experience of freelancing and stuff, how has the knowledge that you've gained in school and your hard work and your work ethic to like getting those top grades transition to like adulthood?
I love that question. I would say up until 19, I was just focused on studying, right? I didn't really think about application of what I was learning. But त्यो कुरा apply गरेर implement गरेर how can I make my life better भन्ने त्यहाँसम्मको सोचै थिएन. पढ्नुपर्छ, राम्रो स्कोर ल्याउनुपर्छ, त्यति नै हैन. But then one thing that I learned because of the hard work, because of the studying, एउटा कुरा चाहिँ के सिकेँ भने the willingness to learn जुन हुन्छ नि, and to learn continuously, That is very important if you want to get really good at something. Right now, I am doing online coaching, as I mentioned before, होइन. अनि obviously if I just stop learning अनि अहिले मलाई जति कुरा थाहा छ होइन त्यो कुराले पनि कति मान्छेलाई सर्भ गर्न सकिन्छ. I can be a service to so many people and continue what I'm doing, right? But then it wouldn't be the same as being invested in learning and really being hungry for new knowledge and skills. So एउटा कुरा के सिकाएँ मैले अघि नै भने त्यो willingness चाहिँ हुनु पर्दो रहेछ. You need to learn and continue learning all the time. तर time and again you need to look back and see how you can apply those knowledge and information and whatever it is, how you can apply those things in real life to level up.
Yeah.
In your personal life, in your professional life. Yeah.
All of it. I think what school has taught me is if you work hard at something and if you really want to do well in something, all you have to do is like work hard. You know, manifest it, work hard at it, think about it. You know, just make it your life and it'll work. For example, I just finished my exams. One of the reasons I wasn't doing the podcast. And I just studied for those 2-3 weeks, you know. I didn't do much. I didn't go out. I was just on calls with my friends. We goofed around a lot, but we also studied, right? And my grades show that. There are certain subjects like English where I was like, keep on, you know, it's just English, you know. The book part, you know, oh yeah, this happened, this one. I didn't do as well in those subjects. But in the sciences and the math, which I'm genuinely curious about, but I also worked very hard in, I pulled very good marks in that, right? So I think that's what school has taught me, right? But for me as well, I feel like learning that you're wrong is the best way of learning. I feel like people go around saying, if you're smart, you're always right. No, if you're smart, you know when you're wrong and you know why you're wrong, right? I think that's what smartness or part of being smart is, right? Do you agree with this? Like, what is being learning all the time mean for you? Does it mean Googling all the time? Does it mean Googling stuff, learning stuff? Does it mean learning why you're wrong? What's learning like at like adulthood?
For me, learning is more about being able to implement what I've learned in real life and see how that can make a difference. Oily चाहिँ. पहिला it was not like that. It was just like getting in the information and consuming information. तर अहिले, yeah, it's more about how can the things that I'm learning make a difference in my life? Is it applicable?
Yeah. I mean, going back to my question about when you were 16 compared to now, right? Like, you sound like a completely different person, right? How was this transition into being the smartest person at school to being the fittest person in the room, you know? Because those are two very different things.
See, I love it. I'm proud of the fact that I was courageous enough to take this path because it wasn't very easy. You know how people who love you and people who know you want you to do the best, and what they think what best is for you isn't always the best for you, right? त्यही भयो मेरो सिचुएसन, मेरो केसमा पनि डक्टर बन्नुपर्छ, इन्जिनियर बन्नुपर्छ भन्ने खालको एक्सपेक्टेसन थियो होइन. अब म पढेकै स्कुलको टिचरहरूदेखि लिएर मेरो पेरेन्ट्सहरूकोदेखि लिएर रिलेटिभ्स एन्ड एभ्री वान. Oh my god. मलाई ठ्याक्कै एउटा कुरा याद आयो क्या. See, I am proud of where I am. यसको लागि एफर्ट लागेको छ होइन. courage चाहिएको थियो अब अरूले भनेको कुराहरू नसुनिकन मेरो लागि चाहिँ यो कुरा ठिक हो भनेर त्यो अलिकति confidence चाहिएको थियो, which isn't always easy when people around you are saying you should be doing something else, you should be doing something else. अब कस्तोसँग पनि कुरा भएको छ भने मैले सुनेको कुराहरू है, अब कस्तो मान्छे के गर्नुपर्ने मान्छे जिममा के सिकाउँछ अरे उसको पेरेन्ट्सहरू त खुसी छैन होला, like comments like these, right? And it's not easy no matter how much you believe in yourself, because a part of you always wants other people to see that. And I'm glad, I'm very grateful that my parents understand what I do. अनि राम्ररी नबुझे पनि हुन्छ नि what goes into this भनेर राम्ररी नबुझे पनि they see me happy and they know that I'm doing something right. And so even though the transition hasn't been the smoothest one, I'm content.
Do you ever like go back and be like, damn, like I should have been a doctor, you know, like I was just thinking, right, like I think if I become a doctor then I'll make good money and I can help my family, and although they wouldn't need the money, I'd feel like I'll be contributing something, right? I know my life wouldn't be as fulfilling because being a doctor is great and all, but it wouldn't bring me as much happiness as doing other things in life, right? Is there any little bit of you that still feel like, damn, or like there are days where you're just having a bad day and you're like, damn, I really just should have been a doctor. I should have listened to the comments. I should have given into this pressure. I know you're happy with your decision, and I believe you made the right one. But are there any moments where you feel like, oh damn, I should have given into that pressure? And how do you tell yourself, no, actually, I made the right decision? Yeah.
I've never had second thoughts about this. मलाई चाहिँ कस्तो feel हुन्छ भने just because you're doing something doesn't mean that you have to be doing that the rest of your life. And I think that really helps me maintain my peace of mind. I love what I'm doing right now, but if I feel like doing something else, I would do it. हैन अनि त्यो गर्न मिल्छ पनि ढिलो भयो भन्ने केही पनि कुरा हुँदैन. सो एउटा चाहिँ त्यो मेन्टालिटीले अलिकति हेल्प गर्छ. लाइक आई नेभर वान्ट टु फिल ट्र्याप्ड and I don't feel that way. अर्को कुरा भनेको चाहिँ looking at my present, हैन, looking at how my work is, the kind of relationship I have built with my clients, the kind of network and connection I have, that is so fulfilling. Ani, one of the most rewarding things that I've ever experienced is getting to be a part of people's journey of growth. And that is fulfilling. के त्यसैले मैले गर्न नहुने कि यताउता भनेर सोच्ने टाइम पनि नपाएको होला, अनि सोच्नुपर्ने पनि भएको छैन, हैन, which is great.
That's so great. I feel like you're right, you know, like I'm at a young age, so I don't do like a job like you, right? So I don't know that feeling of fulfillment that you get. But I think you're right in the sense that I always thought that, oh, if I get a job and I really like it, I'll always, if I'm not making the money I want to make, or if I'm not feeling the way I want to feel, I'll be like, damn, I should have done something else. I should have listened to my parents. I should have listened to that one guy on the street, right? Mm-hmm. But you made me realize is that if you're happy and if you're fulfilled by what you're doing, those thoughts go away, right? Because you're just so happy and so fulfilled by what you're doing, you don't have this feeling to need anything else.
Mm-hmm. I would say I'm content. So I was saying I'm content.
Yeah.
I know, and you've brought up your money ko kura duijoti in our conversation, and I just feel like I need to mention this. But I don't have a lot of experience in life. I'm just 26, right? But in my little experience, you can make money in almost everything.
Okay.
Like you really can. Obviously, you need to be good at it. Ani त्यसपछि अब continuously सिकिराख्ने अनि त्यो सिकेको कुरालाई कसरी अप्लाई गरेर how can you make it financially viable for you भनौँ न त्यो चाहिँ गर्नुपर्छ तर really there is you can really make money doing anything.
And I just want to be clear, so I brought up money a lot, and I don't know why I talk about random stuff, but I genuinely do believe that there's no one solution to like life, right? Like we said, studies is not the solution to everything. America is not the solution to anything. So is money, right? People can be depressed and be sitting in the best house in the world, right? Right. And the homeless guy outside that guy's house could be the happiest person in the world, right? Like, money is doesn't buy happiness. And it is true, right? Like, and you were telling me about how, yes, we need money to survive, but you're telling me that you can make money doing pretty much anything.
Yes.
And it brought up a story, it so reminded me of a story that my dad had told me. He said, look, Manav, you can do whatever you want with your life. As long as you really genuinely care about it, the money will come. And he told me this story about a guy who used to work cleaning dishes.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the best dishwasher in the world, right? He loved it, and he was the best at it. Everybody was like, bro, you're a dishwasher. You're making like the bare minimum salary, right? You're getting paid same as like the teenagers who work during their summer breaks, right? And that guy didn't like, oh, okay, I should go get like this super hi-fi job and, go with, and they're correct. He kept washing dishes and he ended up owning an empire of just dishwashers. He just like, he had a team of people that would go to people's houses and wash dishes. It was almost like a service.
Mm-hmm.
And he became pretty wealthy, right? And it's true, and he did that all from dishwashing, he didn't do that from like, I had to work a different job. He just loved it so much, he just did it, and he's like, look, man, you can just make money with whatever you love, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think, but a fitness coach is definitely one where I'm very curious about, because not in terms of the financial standpoint, but yours is very different in the sense that you're emotionally attached to your clients as well, right? How does your relationship with your clients work?
It gets emotional at points, because I call it health and fitness coaching, but there is so much more that go into it. Normally health र fitness भनेर जुन कुरालाई सोच्ने हो हैन, त्यो बाहेक पनि so I do check-in calls with my clients, which is weekly. So once a week हामी Zoom callमा video chat गर्छौं हैन. अनि त्यो टाइममा of course we go through the things that they're supposed to be doing in order to reach their goals, but at the same time you also talk about things that's going on in their life, because those things affect the other health and fitness stuff, right? अनि त्यो कुराहरु हुने बेलामा they end up sharing things with me that they've never shared with anyone else, and things that are weighing them down, I know. And त्यो वेमा the kind of bond that I have with my client is so precious, so special. And when I say their journey of growth, मैले अघि mention गरे नि, one of the most rewarding things that I've experienced is that I get to be a part of people's journey of growth. So त्यो journey of growth भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ मैले यो कुरालाई पनि सोचेर भनेको हो के. So not just in health and fitness, they also get better at communicating with themselves. हुन्छ नि, just living a more fulfilling life. I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah, it's much more than what we think of, what we think when we think of health and fitness.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, I've gone through a fitness journey myself, and I'm no big guy with a six pack, but I've seen my growth and my confidence grow as I've gotten stronger in my own way, right? And I can't imagine the fulfillment that you get when you help another person do it, you know?
Right.
You doing it, you're like, oh, that's great, you know, but I did it. For me, you feel so selfish, right? You're like, oh, this was all me. But when you motivate other people to do it, that must be a different level of fulfillment, you know? But you also said that you're very attached to your clients emotionally, and physical health and mental health, they go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say it all the time on this podcast. I say, if you're physically fit, then you're also probably mentally fit,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Because they both go hand in hand. On days I'm not motivated to go to the gym, or I feel depressed or sad, I won't go. But if I felt like that forever, I wouldn't be fit either,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And when I do go to the gym, I feel so much better. All these like different hormones that are released, I think endorphins, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you just feel great. But what's it like on the emotional side? I've seen you on the physical side. I've seen your body transformations on Instagram, and how you work with your client, and how you communicate with them in the gym, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I never see and what is should be private is what happens outside the gym, right?
Right.
But what kind of transformation do you see in your client mentally?
Oh, okay. So mentally, I am thinking of a few clients as I answer this. Mentally, they have gone from constantly thinking that they are not enough to thinking that they are. And that is life-changing. I've seen this happen mostly with women, or maybe, you know, I've mostly worked with women, त्यो मात्र experience मलाई भयो होला. तर as a girl, as a woman, you have a lot of expectations set by the society when it comes to beauty, when it comes to the things you're supposed to be doing, when it comes to the way you're supposed to be, you know, occupying space in the society. Let's say हरेक कुरामा expectations छन् त अनि अलिकति lack of self-esteem यो चाहिँ धेरैमा हुने रहेछ के अनि so from being at a state where you're constantly thinking, oh, I'm not good enough, like I am not good enough, त्यहाँबाट getting to a place where you can confidently say that I'm doing good, you know, I am good, I can do things भनेर अनि actually looking at the mirror and feeling like you're beautiful, that is a huge transformation, and that has happened with so many of my clients.
Have you ever felt this way? You feel, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not doing enough. Have you ever felt that way?
Of course. अहिले पनि फिल हुन्छ त्यो त सधैँ फिल हुन्छ नि अनि when I say हुन्छ नि they went from here to here भन्दैमा it doesn't mean that from time to time they have negative thoughts अनि त्यो नहुने त होइन नि त त्यो सबैमा हुन्छ होइन ममा पनि हुन्छ probably तिमीमा पनि हुन्छ होला and there are times when I feel like I'm not doing enough but again it comes back to doing what you can do today. म चाहिँ जहिले पनि त्यही नै भन्छु हुन्छ नि अब एक वर्षमा के होला 2 वर्षमा के होला भनेर सोच्नु भन्दा पनि what can I do today and am I doing enough today, so त्यो remind गर्छु and that kind of helps.
Do you like the low self-esteem, the thing you're not good enough, the whole worrying about what's gonna happen thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like all this is rooted into the human nature of overthinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would overthink a lot. It was a bad habit, and I became really sad. The gym definitely helped me get out of it, but I was just like, oh, what am I doing? You know, like, I'm just like this, and because of my disability, I've never said this on this, but I always felt like I was holding people back, that I wasn't good enough, right? Like, I always felt that way. And I think for me, it always stemmed from overthinking about the future and what's going to happen. And I'm not saying that I'm never worried about that. There are always going to be those days, right? But I think the root cause is overthinking. But I am no professional like you are, right? So, what do you think is the root cause of like low self-esteem, depression, all this other stuff?
That's a very big question. I think a lot of it comes from feeling like you're not in control of things. And that is the nature of life. You really are not in control of a lot of things. But having said that, there are also so many things in life that you can have a good control of, right? About health and fitness ke कुरा गर्दाखेरि पनि 100% control नहोला. There are so many things that you can do to keep it under control. त्यही कुरा when it comes to your career, your relationships with people, हुन्छ नि धेरै कुराहरू चाहिँ मान्छेलाई आफ्नो कन्ट्रोलमा नहुँदाखेरि यस्तो फिल हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ. But again, this is such a big question. Like right now, so हुन्छ नि people who are listening to this, तिमीले सोधेको question एकजनाले कुन वेमा interpret गर्ला भने अर्कोले कुन वेमा interpret गर्ला. It really depends on the kinds of things they're experiencing in life right now, what their past experiences has been. So I think this is a very big question, and we could do a whole podcast is mine, no? That one of the things that contribute to overthinking, I think, is feeling that you're not in control of things and constantly thinking of all the things that could happen.
And I think fitness is such a beautiful way of showing people that, you know what, you are in control. You can do it, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like when they see their changes in the body, yes, they hold this, genetics play into it and whatnot. But when you see yourself change like that because of hard work and because of what you did, you're in control, you did this, right? It really gets rid of a lot of those feelings, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Oh my God, yeah. Going back to the question you asked me about my clients, the kind of mental growth I've seen in them, this is one of them. They've gone from feeling like they cannot do certain things to knowing that they can and continuing doing those things. त्यो हुन्छ नि म त कस्तो कन्सिस्टेन्ट हुनै नसक्ने मान्छे भनेर कतिजनाले भन्छन् के. सो गोइङ फ्रम द्याट टु a state where like सक्छु गरिरहेछु गर्न सकिने रहेछ हुन्छ नि. So fitness really helps you with that. It's एकै दिनमा हुने कुरा हैन, तर you have to do, you know, small things every day for weeks and months and years हैन. अनि त्यसले चाहिँ it really helps you feel like you're in control and that you can do things.
I'm speaking hypothetically here, right? But let's say a client came to you and she was like, oh, I don't really want to work out, but I'm not emotionally feeling well, right? Do you think there is a way of helping that person without using fitness for a long-term success or long-term benefit, right? Without using fitness, or for you, they go hand in hand. Like you cannot have one without the other.
I would really have to talk to the person किनभने यो individual अनुसार फरक हुने कुरा हो हैन. अब त्यो केसमा चाहिँ I would try to talk with them first. If they're feeling negative and if they feel like they are depressed, and if it's actually the case, like diagnosed नै भइसकेको medical condition नै भनौँ न, त्यो केसमा चाहिँ because that is not under my scope of practice, I wouldn't get involved in that. But अब धेरैलाई चाहिँ medical condition हुँदैन, but it's more like they don't feel good, they feel low, अनि they just want to feel better, right? So त्यो हुने बेलामा I almost always try to make fitness a part of their life, because motion. Oh, you might have heard this one. Motion creates emotion, Bonsani.
Oh,
And that is very true. Most of the time, people who are feeling low, they mostly have an inactive lifestyle. So they bosirakhne yatauta nagorne
the couch potato. The couch
exactly,
potato, yeah.
right? The more you sit, the more you overthink, the more likely you are to have negative thoughts. And जस्तो खाले thoughts आयो त्यस्तै खाले action हुन्छ, and then that becomes a vicious cycle, right? So for people who are not feeling very emotionally well, I still try to make fitness a part of their lifestyle, not necessarily in the way of making them go to the gym 5 times a week. Like just going out more, walking more, maybe doing some stretching, or like, super basic yoga or meditation, some form of movement, some form of exercise that would help them feel better. Yeah.
I was thinking, right, as you were talking, right, and I feel like there are gonna be people at home who are sitting and gonna be like, oh, how long do you think it'll take for me to go from how I'm feeling right now, like a soggy couch potato, to a, like, oh yes, like I'm feeling good types. For me, I feel like it's very immediate. There are gonna be Saturdays where I just sit, eat chips on my bed with my laptop, just watching the most random stuff ever, right? And I will feel it towards the end of the day. I'll be like, oh, I feel sick. I wanna get up. Not in the terms of, I need to throw up, but like, I don't feel good, physically and mentally.
Yeah.
I feel like just soggy, right? And I need to get up and do something. But mentally, I'm not there. I'm not like, I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, let's go, yeah. I'm like, I know I should do it, but I don't want to do it. But the days where I do go to the gym, I feel so good the next day. I'll be like, okay, tomorrow I'll go to the gym. I go to the gym, all of it goes out the window. I feel great, right? And I've seen it. I feel like it's very immediate,
Yes.
right? But that's because I have a very polar opposite lifestyle. For example, on Saturday, I'll literally do nothing. I'll look at watch TV, watch Netflix, sit at home, eat the most random stuff, stay up until 11. Tony and I will text me and be like, okay, you come at 9 tomorrow. I hate to admit how many times this has happened, but it has. And I wake up at 8 when I stayed up till 11, feeling like shit. I get up, I go, after the workout, I feel great, right? The thing that happened on Saturday, yes, it will have impacted my body in some negative way because I ate chips, and there are always going to be those gurus that say, oh, you ate chips, you'll never be able to get rid of it, right? But mentally, like, I see a difference almost immediately.
Yes.
But for clients who don't have that fluctuating lifestyle, who have always fit to go into a couch potato, or from a couch potato to becoming fit, right? That mental change, how long does it take for a client to see that?
I have seen most of my clients feel better after a single session. And that doesn't last for a long time. But once you're done with your workout session, you feel good. You cannot deny it. But of course, there are some people whose mental resistance is so high that they cannot push through the single session. And so for those people, it is a little challenging. But most people can push through one session, and once they're done, they feel great.
And it's almost like a drug,
Yeah.
And once you feel it again, you're like I remember the first time I worked out, I'm like, damn, I want to do it again, right? I don't want to go through all the pain again, but I want to feel that way again. And that's what motivated me to do my workouts were very simple back then. It was like 40 push-ups, 40 sit-ups.
That's amazing.
And that was it, right? Just at home, just sit there. 4 sets of 10, 4 sets of 10. And then I started going to the gym. I was like, oh my god, it's like this drug, but on hyper level, like next level type. And maybe I should be comparing going to the gym as like a drug, but like it almost is,
In a good way, yeah.
In a good way, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you almost get addicted to this feeling of, oh, I want to feel that happiness that way again. There are times where it's like, oh, I feel so terrible. I'm going to go to the gym and I'm just going to sit there and be pissed. And I'm going to come out pissed. And today's the worst day. I go to the gym 2 minutes later, all of it's out the window. I'm smiling. I'm talking to people. Blah, blah. Like, it's so weird what it does, right?
Yes.
It's insane. And that's why I'll always be an advocate for fitness. That's why I always ask my friends to go to the gym.
That was what kept me going when I started. So, as I told you, I was in South Korea. It was a new country. I didn't have many friends. Social life was, not great. Study was stressful. I didn't know the language properly. So all of these things, it wasn't the most pleasant life situation, let's say. But when I started going to the gym, and I got that feeling like, oh my God, I feel so great. I have so much energy, and that was the feeling I think I was chasing.
Yeah.
Right.
That this feeling of freedom, right? Just this, almost like
you can't really explain it.
You can't, exactly. Yeah. It's like asking someone who smokes how. Like I always ask people because I'm always curious. I'm like, when you smoke a cigarette, what do you feel? And they just see, a rush of nicotine. I don't know what that feels like, right? Because I've never smoked. But I'm always curious about what it feels like, and they can never describe it. It's the same with fitness. People say, oh, you feel so good after a workout. Why? What actually happens? Like, in their switch, it's so hard to describe.
Yes.
But I will encourage everybody to go. And I tell my friends to go, and they'll go, and then they'll stop going to pump, and they go to another gym. And they think I'll be upset because, I want them to go to my gym, right? So they're like, oh, yeah, man. Sorry, I'm not going to pump anymore, but I'm going to the new gym close to my house. I'm like, great, I don't care as long as you're going. That's all that really matters, right? You could have not even been going to the gym as long as you're doing like push-ups at home and whatever, or just going for walks, right? Just like moving is so beneficial, all you gotta do is move, right?
Move.
Like,
that's the word. Move.
Exactly, right? Like, you just gotta go for a walk. Like, even when I'm upset, right, like, and angry, I'll get pissed and I'll walk out the door and I'll just go for a walk. I don't even know where I'm going. I'll just walk. After I come back, it's like nothing ever happened. I'm so chill. I'm so, like, it's crazy. It's like a cure to all your problems. That's the cure to all your problems.
Yes.
Right?
Even though it is temporary, it gives you an amazing feeling, and that, I think, that helps you solve other problems because you're in that state where you can think clearly, you have better energy, and it's amazing how you're encouraging your friends.
And I think there's no reason not to. There's no reason not to. A lot of people from the outside, they're like, oh, gym going as a Jen get dami ola, like, oh wow, where's your six pack, Somebody go. People think, people go to the gym because they have big egos and they want to like look the best and be like, oh yeah, look at my muscles, right? Most people may go for that reason, be like, oh, I want to go because I want to look better. They end up staying because they're like, damn, I just want that feeling again. I just want to feel that way again, right? And that's what people need to realize is fitness is more than just looking a certain way, or it's just about feeling good about yourself, right? And why wouldn't you want to do that, right? I feel like with your clients, you also do this fitness thing, you also do the emotional thing. But your clients come to you with certain goals, like, oh, I want to look better, I want to feel better, blah blah. What are the three most common things that clients come to you and say, okay, I need this. This is what I
Okay.
need.
So the first thing is I want to lose weight.
Okay.
The second thing is I want my body to look toned. And the third thing is I want to start working out. I don't know how to start, and I'm not confident in the gym. So these are the three most common concerns.
And then when I wouldn't say stop, but after a year and the effect of your service is gotta take place, right? What do they end up saying to you? They're like, oh, thank you so much, I feel so much more toned. Or do they thank you for different reasons? That for goals that they didn't even have in mind, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's how it goes. I mean, tell me though. Like,
Right.
Yeah?
And this is so interesting. So at the end of the coaching program, it could be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, more than a year, right? At the end of the program, when they thank me, they usually thank me for things like, I feel amazing. I feel confident. I never thought I would be someone who would want to take care of their health, who would want to eat healthy, who would be able to balance, fitness and social life and just everything. So those are the things they thank me for. Confidence, balance, their mindset, things like that. And of course, they reach their goal as well, the goals they had related to their physique. But in the process, they realized that the goal they had initially were not as important as they achieved during the process. And that has been a very common experience for most of my clients.
I think that's the point that both you and me throughout this podcast have been trying to make about fitness. It's like, it's so much bigger than just looking a certain way. It almost becomes a byproduct.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the start, that's all you think about. That's when you go. It's like going into a shop, wanting to buy something, walking out with 100 different things you like more, right?
Uh-huh.
It's crazy what people think about fitness from the outside and when they start and what they think about at the end.
Right.
It's crazy. How did you get into the fitness side of things, right? Because there are a lot of coaches, but there are very few people who do the emotional, diet, and physical side of it.
Mm-hmm.
You usually have a trainer, a counselor, and a diet trainer.
Yeah.
You've done it all at once. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
buy one, get two free, right? You're like one of those deals. How do you do that? Like, because this is not very common in Nepal.
Yes.
Maybe it is, but I don't think it. I've never seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
I thought from Instagram, I genuinely thought you were just a fitness trainer.
Uh-huh.
I genuinely thought that. And then you told me, no, I do everything. I was like, okay, wow. What's that like in Nepal? Like, is that taken in with open arms? Or are they like, what are you doing? Types, Like, what is that like?
Mm-hmm. I came back to Nepal in 2021 around September. And I wanted to get started with this online coaching thing, which includes exercise, nutrition, mindset, confidence, these stuff. But after coming here and seeing the fitness industry, I realized that here it's not very common. So back in South Korea, not just in South Korea, in other countries as well, like the UK, US, Australia, these countries, online coaching is quite common. But in Nepal, it wasn't. So when I came here, I realized it and I was like, okay, this is going to be something new. It might be a little challenging to create awareness in people about the service and about, how it works, why it would be good for them. So, just to establish that kind of business. So I got started anyways. And then right now, compared to how it was in 2021, people are more aware about coaching, which is different from training. personal training where you're with the client, with the trainer one-on-one, and they're helping you with your workout, your form, and everything in person. So that's personal training. And coaching is different, where I'm not there to help you with your workouts one-on-one, but you're getting all this support to better your form, to help you increase your confidence regarding workout, and then like making sure that you're eating well, how to make sure that you're eating what your body needs, all these things, right? And so what I'm trying to say is, when I started it, it was very new. Right now there are more people doing it, and it is growing, which is great. Yeah.
I think, and this whole coaching thing is a very broad thing. My mom's also a coach, but she's like a business coach. She's not a personal coach, right? Coaching in general is becoming more well known in Nepal, but it's still fairly new, right?
Yes.
And in 2021, it was nearing towards the end of COVID, right? How scary was it to like make that decision of, okay, I'm gonna just freelance? So that's a pretty bold decision at a young age,
Yeah.
So how did you come to that decision?
Oh, so I graduated around July 2021, and after that I had to make a decision, either coming back to Nepal or staying in Korea or going somewhere else and do masters or do something else. Deep in my heart, I really wanted to do something in fitness. I didn't know how, I didn't know where, but I wanted to do it. And so it just made sense for me to come back home, where I know people, I know how the culture is, I know how things work, because I wanted to do something new. I wanted to do it in an environment where I'm already like familiar. I didn't want it. I didn't want everything to be new. So if I was, let's say, going to a different country and then doing this new thing, it would be too much of newness. That was my thinking at that time. So just came back and started doing it. Like, it was scary. There were times where I felt like, I would say there were times where I found it more challenging than I had expected. But, it's a process. And as I said earlier, it is growing. Yeah.
And did you ever expect it to work out this good?
Nope. Okay. That is a direct and big no. Nope.
That's crazy. The transformation in the transformation. Yeah, I think, well, thank you so much for coming. This has been great. I learned like so much about fitness and about your whole thing about like, you were pressured to be a doctor, but now you're like the person that stops people from going to the doctor, You're
Wow.
like, it's not like you've changed so much from 16 to 26, and it really does give me hope in the sense that, one, I can do whatever I want, and what I'm doing now doesn't have to be the thing I do forever, right? You can change, you can evolve. I always thought once you reach 21, you had to lock in your life and be like, this is what I'm doing. But it's not true, is it? It's just, you just do what you want.
Yep.
So thank you so much for coming. I had a really good time.
Thank you for having me.
I would like to apologize for my blocked nose. I've been sick this whole week.
Oh my God, no worries
I
at all.
really-
No
yeah.
worries at all. And I want to say one thing. What you're doing at your age is incredible. Like, when I was 16, I wouldn't even imagine doing what you're doing right now. And, you are talking to people who are in their 20s, 30s, like who have so much more experience than you do, and you sit with them and you ask them amazing questions, and like what you're doing is so amazing. I just wanted to tell you that. I know that you know it, but
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. hopefully, because my exams are over and I have nothing going on, I can do more episodes. So please expect more of this face right here. And thanks for watching. So thank you.
Thank you.